Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday, and you are happily tuned in to the I'm Making It Happen radio show on the Reef 103.5 FM with except me, yours, Nykole Tyson. And we are here on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And on I'm Making It Happen, we discuss how we can make it happen in our minds, bodies, finances, business, and culture, despite the inevitable and not so pleasant challenges. And that's to ultimately allow us to realize that we have the ability to improve and maneuver every and any situation that we encounter. And I'm always excited for the conversation. And guess what? We have Waste Management Authority online with us today. Interim Executive Director Daryl Griffith, as well as Paula Stevens. She's the Solid Waste Collection Manager, and Sheena Isanison, Solid Waste Director. We're going to be talking about the implementation of territory solid waste collection disposal and maintenance fee. But before we get into the details, I definitely want to say good morning to everyone in the USVI, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, and anywhere you are in the Caribbean. Thanks so much for tuning in, as well as all those listening live on reefbroadcasting.com from the east to west coast. We appreciate you. And all those watching live on Facebook at I'm Making It Happen. Thank you for tuning in. And we do ask that you please do like and share. And as was mentioned, we have the Waste Management Authority. And today we're diving into a topic that touches every single household and business across the Virgin Islands. It's our trash. And that's right, also solid waste. We're going to talk about how it's collected, where it goes, who's responsible, and how we're going to be paying for it. And joining us, as I mentioned, is the Department of the Waste Management Authority, who continuously make it happen behind the scenes and publicly every day. And we're going to learn more about these fees. We're talking about the new waste collection, disposal, and maintenance fee that's going to be rolled out, why it's necessary, how it will work, and what it means for you. And if we have time, we will take questions later, like maybe quarter to 12, okay? So we'll be discussing your rights as ratepayer, how public input is going to be factored into this process, and how these funds will ultimately clean up and keep our islands beautiful. And so, without further ado, I want to welcome the Waste Management Authority. Can you turn down your volume, Mr. Griffith, on your computer? Okay, perfect. All right. And so if you want to see us live on Facebook, you'll see us on I'm Making It Happen. We have the individuals online virtually as well as by phone. So we're connecting on both platforms. Okay. And so good morning and welcome.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me okay, Ms. Tyson?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Good day, everyone. I'm Daryl Griffith, CFO, and currently the Interim Executive Director of the Virgin Islands Waste Management Authority.
Great.
And with me today, I have Ms. Sheena Sanderson and Ms. Paula Stevens, who will introduce herself.
Good morning. My name is Sheena Sanderson. I am the Solid Waste Director.
Great.
Good morning. I'm Paula Stevens. I'm the Collections Manager for St. Thomas.
Great. Thank you all for being with us. And we have had a really busy schedule. And so we do appreciate your taking the time to update and inform the public. So I want to just get a brief overview. I mean, it might sound obvious, but just to start the conversation off, can you give us a brief overview of the waste management's role in the territory?
The waste management role in the territory is actually twofold. The Waste Management Authority manages all of the solid waste collections in the territory. So we do both house-to-house garbage pickup at all of those bin sites that you see around, and the convenience centers where you dump trash. That actually comes to our landfills. In St. Croix, it's Anguilla landfill, and in St. Thomas, it's the Bovoni landfill. So when all that trash comes in, we not only have to separate it out, bury it, and make sure that it's laid with a protected cover so that fires don't occur. And that's how we deal with, in a rough nutshell, the solid waste garbage collection. But we also do the wastewater side too as well. Anytime you're connected to the sewer lines and you flush your toilet, that's Waste Management Authority actually taking care of that and making sure that that waste gets to our treatment centers and gets treated, and then the water is able to get disposed of in an environmentally friendly manner.
Okay, great. Thank you. And so let's see. Yeah, so of course, sewer and trash collection. And then you see is even more involvement of like the separation, burying, layering, protecting and covering. And so that's a lot. So the waste management is more, you've explained to me that waste management is more than just garbage pickup. It's a public health and environment, also has a hand in public health, of course, because we talk about sewage and the environment and sustainability. So can you also briefly let us know or explain the mission? So we talked about like what's the mission of the Virgin Islands Waste Management Authority, for listeners who may not be familiar, and then what have been some of the excuse me?
I apologize. We're having a hard time hearing on our end. I'm going to try one quick thing.
Turn up the volume on the phone, possibly.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hang up on that one. So can you repeat that question for us?
And there's some feedback. Somehow I'm getting feedback now. Something changed. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? I can't hear you guys now. The phone line disconnected. You guys disconnected the line. Yes. The phone line. You have to call back into the phone line. It's no longer here. I see you guys online. Sorry. Can Lorna call back in because she hung up? Call back into the station. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So let's get into it. I can hear you. So for those who just tuned in, just had some technical difficulty. We're talking with the Waste Management Authority, Interim Executive Director Daryl Griffith. We're talking about the implementation of collection fees. Let's see. Yes, with the collection fees, solid waste collection, disposal, and maintenance fee. What that's going to look like. We got the role of the Waste Management Authority, and now we're asking what are some of the challenges that the division is experiencing with regards to the collection of waste.
The true challenge that we're facing, it really just boils down to dollars and cents, unfortunately, money. It's the high cost of the actual garbage. If you don't mind, I'll go into a little bit of detail on what it costs us for garbage collection island by island, and then I'll tell you how we're trying to offset some of this with the garbage collection fees. So for St. Croix, our house-to-house garbage collection costs us $3.5 million. That's just for the house-to-house garbage collection. And then we have 3 bin sites on St. Croix, Cotton Valley, Concordia, and Mumbiju. That cost us $1.3 million to maintain those sites. And then we have the Peters Rest site, the convenience center, which cost us $300,000. We also do garbage collection for public housing, garbage collection, $369,000. Government agencies, garbage collection, $215,000. The school's trash collection, which we've asked the schools to start picking up, $270,000. And green waste disposal, when you bring your trees, your shrubberies over to the landfill and to the bin sites, that costs us to be able to shred them $564,000. So St. Croix garbage collection is $6,566,000 right now that we pay to do that.
A year.
And St. Thomas, a year on an annual basis. Then we move on to St. Thomas. On St. Thomas, as you know, we don't have as much house-to-house garbage collection. So that service only costs us $146,800 on St. Thomas. But our bin sites, we have over 40 different ways to dump trash on St. Thomas, 40 different bin sites, and that costs us $2.6 million to maintain all those bin sites. We have 1 convenience center in St. Thomas, which costs us $215,000. The public housing garbage collection, that's another $137,000. Government agencies garbage collection, another $66,000. Schools trash collection, that's $185,000. And the green waste disposal is a little bit around $600,000. So for Thomas, our total for garbage collection is right underneath $4 million at $3.9 million. Then we move to St. John, where we have the removals of the bins from St. John to the Bohoney landfill. That one contract alone is $1.9 million for that contract. And then we have the barge services, because we have to, all of the garbage takes a little tour, a little cruise from St. John to St. Thomas to get to the landfill, and that's $812,000 on an annual basis. Then we have port fees, which could come up to $35,000. So total for St. John is $2.8 million. And when we move all this garbage around and we get it to the appropriate places, there are employees who have a lot of work to do to make sure that this garbage is maintained, sorted, and buried and shipped off to the United States in an appropriate manner. That's $6.2 million for that. So our grand total for the solid waste garbage collection side is $19,622,164. So initially, I wanted to present the idea to the community to charge that, solid waste collection, disposal, and maintenance fee. My initial idea, $360 a month. A year. I apologize. $360 a year garbage collection fee, and that would have been $1 a day. But as soon as I brought that to the governor, he shut me down with that. He told me immediately that every citizen in the Virgin Islands does not make over $100,000 a year, and $360 is too much, even though it's $1 a day to charge to the citizens of the Virgin Islands. Of course, he's the governor, so I listened. When he said that, he suggested and we agreed of a fee of $180 per year, which is the equivalent of $15 per month or 50 cents per day. So half of the original cost. And that fee is going to be, we want it to be charged to both residential properties and vacant lots. And we have a little bit over 34,000 residential properties in the territory. So charging $180 a year will give us $6.1 million. On the vacant lots, we have about 20,000 vacant lots. That'll give us $3.7 million a year. So when you add those two together on property taxes, we'll be able to generate $9,853,200 in property tax bills. So, and I know you can do the simple math and see that $9 million is not the same as $19 million. So we'll still need central government help, but it'll go a long way for us helping to cover the additional costs necessary to do garbage collection correctly. Now that $9.8 million, we're not planning to get all of that because we want to charge it on property taxes, and currently on the property taxes, we're estimating a collection rate of 70%. When we brought it to the board was like, you might have to drop that to maybe 50%.
Okay,
but
hold on.
At 70%,
just a second.
$6.1 million.
Okay, so there's a lot of numbers you were providing. Yeah. So I just want to give a breakdown real quick. So again, those who's tuning in, we're speaking with Interim Executive Director Daryl Griffith, specifically regarding the solid waste collection and maintenance fee and implementation of a fee. So originally they were looking at about $360 a year, but the governor recognized that that might be hefty for the average person, and so it was reduced by half to $180 per year. What I understand is what you're saying is that this would be collected through property taxes, correct?
Correct.
And then, so the total within the territory, once they generate this fee, they'll collected and generated about $9 million, which is still $10 million short from the $19 million that costs the government to collect and sort out our waste. But that central government is going to provide the assistance with the balance. Okay, so just want to wrap that up for everyone. And now, what were you saying about the PSC and 70% or 40%?
For the property taxes right now are collected by the Lieutenant Governor's office, and they don't collect 100% of property tax on an annual basis. Okay. So what I was saying was that we're estimating that 70% of the property taxes will be collected, and that'll give us an annual budget, basically of $6.8 million to be able to use towards the annual fee. So even though the total that'll be generated is 9.8, in reality, what we're going to get on an annual basis is going to be closer to $6.8 million.
Okay, got it. All right. So we're talking about this, this fee. So what is so basically it was going to cover 9 million. We're trying to cover 9 million, but you're going to really realistically receive about 6 million due to what you're saying, that Lieutenant Governor's office usually collects about 70% of the property taxes. And so it'll be about 6 million that will be allocated or be able to be used towards the cost of garbage collection and the processing and all that kind of stuff. So how will this, we already talked about how the fee will be collected through property taxes. My question in regards to that is, you're saying you have like 34,000 properties and then 20,000 vacant. What about like public housing, like those who rent? I guess those who rent will be collected through the property tax. And I was just thinking, like, how does that
Well, that's an interesting question. Even your thought as you're thinking it out. For example, public housing in the 1960s, when HUD came to the Virgin Islands, they passed a law in the Virgin Islands that says that the government of the Virgin Islands will pay for garbage collection for public housing. So those fees are not being able to be transcribed and transferred over to the Virgin Islands Housing Authority. So they will not get charged those fees, but we'll still have to pick up their trash because of that law that was passed in the 60s. And also, if it's okay with you, I would love for Machina Estanison to go over what we do in terms of garbage collection now at our bin sites and our convenience centers and our house-to-house, and also and Ms. Petula Stevens to go over that. And then I would like Sheena to go over what we do at the landfill where the garbage gets to the landfill, because there's a lot of work involved in making sure that we keep the island clean. Would that be okay, Ms. Tyson?
Of course, definitely. Good morning,
okay.
Mr.
And
Sanderson.
I have to pass the phone along too as well, okay?
Okay. I think you could put it on speaker. I think it's working. I think you could put it on speaker.
Good morning.
Good morning. Try speaker. I think it should be fine. Because you guys been doing, yeah, very, very well. Okay, I can hear you.
Okay.
Great. So,
Again,
Mr. Sanderson.
My name is Sanderson, Solid Waste Director. In St. Croix, we begin our early day at 4 a.m. and we go do house-to-house collection. There's a schedule for the house-to-house collection that's posted on our website. In St. Thomas, we begin at 5 a.m. in the morning, and on St. John, we start at 6 a.m. At the Peters Rest at all the convenience center, we have those are man station, and we have people there to let you know what you can and can't bring to the convenience centers. We ask that you take your bulk waste out to the Bovoni landfill or to Anguilla landfill. And then I'm going to pass it on to Petula before I let the team, the public know, and the community that we need the help in to stop all the illegal dumping of oil and bulk waste in the territory, because there's a high cost that we have to go out and clean these areas every week. Sometimes it's 4 and 5 times a week, and sometimes we have to clean the same area that we cleaned just the day before. In St. Croix, we cleaned Halfpenny, and then the very next day we had to go out and clean that spot again. I'm going to let the Stephen, the collection manager in St. Thomas, talk, and just let the community know that we can do this if we all
Right.
together.
I have a question before Ms. Stevens speaks. What specifically did you clean up at Halfpenny on St. Croix?
The Halfpenny area in St. Croix.
Yeah, what specifically were you cleaning up there?
Not a facility, it's just
No, what specifically? Yeah, you just cleaned up the beach? Just a basic garbage.
It's hard to hear you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry?
Of basic garbage, you cleaned up the beach of basic garbage.
It was garbage. There was refrigerators, furniture,
Oh wow.
tires, oil. It was all kinds of different accumulation of trash that people brought in.
Okay.
And this is happening on all three islands around the territory.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
we're asking the community to please join in and help us to keep our islands clean that we so love.
Okay. Thank you for that detail.
Sure.
All right, Miss Stevens.
Okay, good morning again. This is Ms. Stevens, the Solid Waste Collections Manager here in St. Thomas. As IED Griffith and Director Sheena Eason stated, at least here in St. Thomas, we have a total of about 65 sites for collection. 11 of those being roll-on, roll-off sites, 25 being the railroader sites, and 25 being the public card sites. Those little 64-gallon stores that you see around the island. At every of these sites on a daily basis, there is illegal dumping on every site. We have contractors that collect the site probably 4 times a week, because once we clean it at 8 a.m., by 4 p.m. the same day, we have the mattresses, the white goods, the used oil, the tires, the greenway, and it's a cost. And we try to clean it every day, but it gets overwhelming. There's the large rats. I mean, we have complaints from residents with the amount of illegal waste that's at the site. Now, Head Waste Management, we clean it every day, but there's so much that we can do with the help of our contractors. It's like overwhelming. So we're just asking the community to take the illegal waste, like the white goods, all of those items. The signs are posted at the site. We have signs posted at the site. Take those items to the landfill, so that we're trying to improve our service, but we need your help as well.
Yes, and anybody that listens to my show knows that I beat it the dead horse. I talk about everyone doing their part in cleaning up the areas and not doing the illegal dumping. And so you hear it from Waste Management themselves. They're requesting that us as a public, that we do our part and assisting. And this may also reduce the cost because they're just having to do more and more work. So now that's going to cost the government, and that's going to have to be put somewhere, so transfer somewhere. And so once we do our part and put the items in the right place, then this will help them and reduce their costs for collection. When you talk about refrigerators and these big items, you have specific places that they can take these, correct?
Well, last weekend, we had a bulk waste program where here in St. Thomas and in St. Croix, where you could have taken your white goods, your bulk waste to 2 sites on St. Thomas, 3 sites actually, the Canton Bin site, Nazareth Bin site, and the convenience center over at Mandal. And in St. Croix, it was the Peters Rest Convenience Center and the Anguilla Landfill. So we do have programs where the community can bring their white goods, but on a daily basis, they can be taken to both landfills and the transfer station.
Okay. So at the sites themselves, you can take bulk waste for specific when you have a specific program, but daily you could take them to the landfill.
Right.
Okay.
Daily, you take them to the landfills. They're not accepted at any of the bin sites.
Okay, so there's no excuse. You could take it all the way to the landfill, and it will be accepted. Is there a fee once they take it to the landfill?
No, there's no fee to take it directly to the landfill. There's no fee for residents. No.
Okay, and just to know, there are many states that when you take these bulk items, you do have to pay a fee. So they're not even charging you a fee in the U.S. Virgin Islands, when you take your refrigerator or any big item to the landfill. So there's no excuse of why it's not being, our residents are not using this service because there's no fee. Again, in many states, you cannot take these items unless you pay for it. You have to pay a fee once you, discard it at their whatever sites they may have. And then also for the oil, where do they usually, how is that supposed to be disposed?
Well, for the used oil, right now we're having a big problem with used oil at the bin site. The commercial vendors are supposed to contract with a hazardous waste hauler to collect their used oil. We have the HSW, or the Household Hazardous Waste site over at the Bogoni landfill, I think, on
And the transfer station.
and transfer station,
And St. John and Angola in St. Croix as well.
where the residents can take their used oil to those sites. I think it's 5 gallons a week. If I'm not
That is
mistaken,
correct.
5 gallons of used oil per week at those sites. We have a problem right now, especially at Raccoon Hill bin site, where we're overloaded with used oil. Just about every site on a daily basis.
And in Concordia, we have an issue there in St. Croix as well. And these are coming from the businesses. There's so much oil being accumulated that we know it's the businesses that are putting those things there illegally, as well as tires.
Okay, yes, I have an issue with the tires as well. And so I've mentioned it before on the show. You know, it's the businesses, and you said that the contractors, they're supposed to have a contract in regards to their disposal for the oil. So then I would think that you can track those businesses that don't have the contract, and that you can then fine these businesses that if they don't have a set way to dispose of their oil, then you should just fine them. And then also
That's correct.
and then also those oil tire companies. I pay a fee when they say, oh, we'll take $5 to discard the tire for you. So they're collecting this money, some of them, and it seems like they're not discarding the tires in a proper manner. They're going to these empty locations and dropping off the tires. So I would say you should be able to figure out which companies are also discarding their tires legally and fine them.
Yeah, we do that. The enforcement officers, they are out there diligently, and they're issuing tickets on a daily basis. So we are trying our best to attack the situations to make things better. And I just wanted to let you know as well that we're the only U.S. jurisdiction that do not charge for trash pickup. So
Yeah.
if you go to the States, there's a fee like you spoke about earlier. So we just want to let the public know we've been doing this for free forever. And we can't continue to do it anymore for free.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to now pass it on to Mrs. Nykole Griffith. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we got that. We understand, because if you're doing this for free and then people are just taking advantage and they're just discarding, it causing more work. And this is where the fee is so costly, because they're not using the proper places and to discard the oil, the tires, the bulk. And so that's going to have to be transferred. And so this is what happens when we don't follow, not just follow guidelines, but follow what's already in place for to process certain things, especially the garbage. And so as it has been no cost for us forever, as was just mentioned by Ms. Sanderson, now it's just being too costly now to go and pick up after individuals, especially when you're hearing them talking. You just mentioned refrigerators and furniture at the beach in Haypenny. That's just, ridiculous. So now get back to the fees, right?
Yeah.
All right. So coming back to the point of this conversation today, which was regarding the solid waste collection and maintenance fee that the Waste Management Authority is looking to implement. They're starting their public awareness campaign right now. What is the process? What's the process of the implementation, and where can the public get more information if they want to provide feedback and the like?
So for more information, one of the first things we're going to do is that we're going to publish all of this that we're speaking about today in the newspaper on a monthly basis. So once a week, we'll put in the newspaper the fees that we're planning to charge, so the public can have access to it, not just on the radio, but see it in writing. We'll also put it on social media, and we'll also work with putting it on our website. And then Then after that month, we're going to publish a date where we'll present this to the PSC. We ask the public to call us with questions and comments. We have our communications team here as well. Our number at Waste Management is 340-715-9100. That number once again is 340-715-9100. You can speak to Ms. Lorna Minkoff, and she'll be able to answer questions. And you can also go to viwma.org, where we'll be posting updates on this. And we just want to really get the public engaged on this, because they see the litter problem that we have on the island. And we have a solution that we want to implement in terms of increasing our collection rate. But we have to charge fees to be able to get this done, so that we can not only pay our contractors, but also get the equipment we need to make this happen. One of the things that we're going to be rolling out too as well is in St. Thomas. Ms. Sanderson and I went to a conference, and we saw that there were some smaller garbage trucks that we can use, that we can put on top of our Ford F-250. So we're going to try that in a very small way and see if we can increase the house-to-house garbage collection on St. Thomas. And as we do that, we'll start reducing the number of bins that we have on St. Thomas too as well, so that we can give the St. Thomas citizens the same level of service in terms of house-to-house garbage collection. What's been hard to do on St. Thomas is just that the roads are so small and the roads are steep. So that's been hard. So with the F-250s, we're going to give it a try and see if we can bring that level of service to St. Thomas. So that'll be started this year.
Okay. Some questions here online is asking that if bulk waste, it says bulk waste needs bins around the island or at the convenience centers. It's terrible when it comes to oil and tire disposal. Charge a fee when disposing oil or tires and bulk items. How have you guys considered putting more bin sites around the island? Because I remember when I was a little girl, there was one right there in Wim, at where the highway is, right in the middle. Now it's I can't even remember how the road was configured at that time, but there was a bin site right there in Wim at the end, but on the highway. Have you guys considered putting more bin sites throughout the islands to kind of assist?
We will actually want to get away from the number of bin sites. We want to do more house-to-house garbage collection and have less bin sites. The island is too beautiful, too pristine to have garbage dumps on every corner. And I saw one of the questions that you read off, and they asked about charging the fee for tires, for oil, and for white goods, and that's what we're looking to implement. When we charge the fee, though, on the back end, what we've seen is just a dramatic increase in illegal dumping. So if we say we charge fees for tires, now you start seeing thousands of tires littered on the road, in the bushes, on hills, every which way. So we're going to start charging a fee for those items, but we're going to put it on the front end instead of the back end, because on the back end, when you have to bring it to the bin site, all that happens is that illegal dumping increases dramatically.
I agree, because I was thinking that, and I would like to provide another suggestion. Probably already thought about it, is to put pressure, especially on these tire companies, because they do receive money when they collect these tires. That's why they have so many tires. So they're taking this money and then they're not applying to where it's supposed to go, like paying the fee. So then just charge them automatically, and then they have to put pressure on the other companies that aren't doing it the right way. And so that's just
that's exactly what I'm going to work on doing. I didn't want to do both simultaneously. I didn't want to put the fees on the tires simultaneously while I was going to the PSC quarters garbage collection fee, but that's the next phase, is to put the fees to the tire companies themselves before they ship the tires in, so that we can have the money ready to be able to dispose of it. I just inundate the public with a bunch of different fees simultaneously, but it's something we have to do because we see the problem that's occurring.
Great. Well, we appreciate you coming. We definitely will have you again to give us some more updates once, I guess, the plan, you start rolling out some more information to the public. We appreciate the transparency in regards to what it costs the government for the garbage and sewage, maintenance in the territory, and also bringing an awareness of how it's affecting the livelihood, the lives of individuals in certain areas. Like we talk about the rats and whatnot. And so it takes all of us, right? And so before we close out, because the time has approached, is there anything you want to say before we close out to the public regarding these fees that will be presented to the PSC?
Definitely, this is just our first communication. We're going to be doing a lot of more information to the public with Miss Nykole Tyson, with Lorna Minkoff on our team, and we'll be make ourselves available to answer questions. Because I know I don't like paying extra fees. No one likes extra fees, whether it's $1 or 50 cents. No one likes to pay more money for fees and for services. But unfortunately, it's something that we have to do to make sure that we keep the islands clean and we keep ourselves healthy too as well. With the number of tires that we have disposed of everywhere, if the water gets collected, it breeds mosquitoes, then we have the risk of different things like dengue and things like that spreading. So all of those things have to be considered and are being considered, and that's why we're doing this speech to the public, saying that hey, we're starting with a very small fee, 50 cents per day, $15 a month, $180 a year, and it's going to help us offset some of the cost for this garbage collection, and we're going to be able to provide you with even better services.
Well, thank you. And this is what happens when we don't do our part when we have the chance and there was no cost. So now it has to be transferred somewhere. And so we appreciate the Waste Management Authority for making it happen all the time, for all the things that you just expressed and shared, what it takes every single day to maintain the public health in our territory in regards to sewage and garbage disposal. My last question is, would individuals be able to be present at the PSC meeting, and how does that work?
I think so, but I'm not a PSC expert, so I'll double check that. But I think the quick and the correct answer, I think, is yes. But I'll find out and I'll let you know, Ms. Tyson, so that we can share with the community.
Okay, and great. And just reiterate the phone number that they can call, and who would they ask for if individuals want to give feedback on this?
Oh, definitely. So the first thing is the phone number is 340-715-9100. That's 340-715-9100. And actually speaking with Lorna Minkoff, and she's for our communications director. She'll be able to answer any questions you have. You'll soon be able to go to www.ciwma.org and see information from us. And also visit and like our Facebook page. Just simply go to Facebook and put in Virgin Islands Waste Management Authority. And on that page, you'll see all the updates that we're doing. And you'll see also the various cleanups that we've done. We've done cleanups of over 12 places already, picking up garbage. And for St. John, if you'd like to call for St. John, it's 340-715-9147. That's 340-715-9147. So we service all three islands, and we also service Water Island too as well. And Water Island, just to let you know, we're going to come with a white cleanup day for you too as well. We did St. Croix, we did St. Thomas. We haven't forgotten about Water Island. It's coming.
Okay, thank you. And I think we have a call, and I'll take it real quick. How do I? So I'm gonna put you guys on hold and then come back to you. So just bear with me.
Okay.
Okay, you're on the air. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning, Ms. Tyson.
Good morning.
And morning to the listening audience. I have a question. I'm going real quick. I have a question. Is that was I told him late? That's the director that you're speaking with for waste management?
Yes, that's the interim executive director. Mm-hmm.
Okay, my question to him is this. Would you please, sometime this month or next month, but please, can you make an arrangement to command on Mr. Winner and Mr. Williams show that the public can ask you direct questions, even though the person that what's your name? I guess I got me. Oh gosh, your name?
Just go ahead.
Your name? Yes, even though you're speaking now, could you please arrange to come and Mr. Williams show or Tyrone show? Please, the public need to speak to you direct. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. Jessica, you called in today. We definitely will work on that. Jessica, you called in today. They could call in too to speak directly today with the executive director. I said they could have called in 11:45. All right. But they will, like is mentioned, they will do other outreach to the public in regards to these fees and answer more questions in regards to them. Okay. All right. Great. So thank you so much, interim executive director Daryl Griffith, as well as Mrs. Sanderson and Ms. Stevens for being with us today. We really appreciate you giving the information and update regarding the fees that are going to be presented to the PSC and that we understand it's going to be a time frame of of public awareness. And so we look forward to that. And again, the phone numbers that were provided, if you have questions, you want to call them directly. Let's see, was 340-715-9100. Again, 340-715-9100. And then also 3407, that's St. John, 340-715-9147. You can ask to speak with Lorna Minkoff in regards to any questions. So we appreciate you guys for being with us today, and we'll have you back again.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you, and take care. And if you just tuned in with us, we had the interim executive director, as I mentioned, Daryl Griffith, on the line with us, and he's on also the Paula Stevens, the solid waste collection manager, and Sheena Sanasin, the solid waste director. And as I've always mentioned, it is a burden. Now you realize it's a burden of all the garbage that people just dump. And when we aren't accountable, or we don't hold people accountable around us, there is going to be a cost somewhere, somehow. And now you see there's going to be a fee implemented, and we never had any fees here in regards to garbage collection, and that's not heard of anywhere in the United States. And of course, we're a U.S. territory, and so if there will be a fee implemented, it was half of what was originally presented to the governor, so that's good. It went from $360 to $180, and that's going to be collected through property taxes. All right. And so you want to know more information, you can call the numbers that were presented. Thanks so much for tuning in to I'm Making It Happen. Before we close out, definitely want to remind you about Quality Auto Parts located near Sunny Isles. They're now open from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays, and they're open on Sundays. You can call them at 340-778-5462, as well as Carlos Furniture, open 7 days a week, located in Peters Rest, St. Croix, and Tutu Park Mall in St. Thomas. All right, and so we'll be back again on next week, Wednesday, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you don't see something happening, create it, be the change. And until next time, keep thinking outside the box, coloring outside the lines, and remember, it's about you, me, we. So make it happen.